just to some of you. Again, my name is Cruz. I'm the focal point for Timor-Leste and EU Cooperation Services at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Cooperation. And today, with my team, we will be facilitating the flow of this ceremony. So in this special important afternoon gathering, we have the pleasure to have among us Your Excellency, Vice Prime Minister, Mr. Mariano Salima, Your Excellency, Honorable Ambassador, Mr. Mark Frederick, representing the country, donor, the country, Excellencies, national agencies, so also the government representatives, director generals, and national directors, and all of us here. Once again, welcome to this signing ceremony for this strengthening social inclusion and nutrition in Timor-Leste. So, this project is funded by the European Union with a total amount of 12 million, which will be split into two. 9.9 will be implemented by the UN agencies. The lead will be the WFP, and then we have the NGOs, social society. Civil society will also be implementing 2 billion euros. Sorry, I mismentioned the dollars, but it is in euros.
Thank you, Mohamed Alexio. Good everybody. So as Mohamed Alexio has mentioned, this is going to be a general brief overview of this project so that all of us are on the same page of how this support from the European Union is going to help the government of Timor-Leste to improve the conditions of the beneficiaries that we are aiming to support. Next, please. Agriculture as well, while corresponding municipal authorities and local farmers will also be used. The areas of operation, though at the national level, will be pertaining to the policies and technical assistance and the campaigns that will be run. However, the implementation in the communities would be in 4 municipalities of Aileo, Kovalima, Dili, and Lautem, and multiple activities in different sectors, as mentioned, would be taken into account to benefit the population. Next, please. Now, having given a brief overview, this infographic explains to you the flow of how this project is going to help at the community level and at the national level in terms of strengthening social inclusion and nutrition. The main pillar, the central focus at the community level would be the schools with nutrition, social safety nets, and health. The communities would be enhanced with the knowledge, attitude, and practices, which will also run into the mother support groups and the farmers that will result in increased homegrown school feeding that will link to having more local produce into the school meals that will improve the school meals. The mother support groups will increase the outcome of the commodity that is being produced so that they are able to benefit there as well. The social inclusion, obviously, the mother support groups and the farmers will be linked to the social safety nets so that the informal workers can be part of the contributory social safety net that is being there. At the capacity, at the national level, at the government level, the different ministries will be working together to have an enhanced enabling environment so that they can, the policy advocacy and capacity strengthening can be done. At the school level in the community, there would be infrastructure support, and in kitchens construction, around 24 kitchens to be constructed in 24 schools, with wash facilities to also be established along with those kitchens as well. Cross-cuttingly, they would be working in the communities with the CSOs and the NGOs, the social partners that would be present, with having an evidence generation component and a strong M&E component with it, along with the campaigns and social behavior change communication to it. So in that sense, the lead would be with the government, where the implementing agencies would be supporting them to have increased capacity, improved implementation, and in the end to have improved conditions of the vulnerable population of the communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Ali, for this brief overview of this program. And as you can see, we're lucky that our women and children under 5 and school age will have the benefits of this nutrition. I wish we would also have in the past always this nutrition program in my schools. So next will be having the signing ceremony of these agreements. Before that, we have a couple of remarks. First will be please, thank you.
Your Excellency, Vice Prime Minister Mariano Salvino, excuse me, representatives of the various ministries of the government of Timor-Leste, colleagues from the United Nations, development partners, civil society organizations, nutrition stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen, Laura Yak, I would first of all like to begin by expressing my sincere thanks to all present here today, the members of the government and development partners and stakeholders. Your presence shows that nutrition and social inclusion remain high on the agenda in Timor-Leste. It is an honor to stand before you today to mark the signing of the new projects funded by the European Union. We are gathered here as partners united by a common goal: to improve the nutritional status of the people of Timor-Leste, with a special focus on women, children, and in particular, young girls. There is progress to improve nutrition in Timor-Leste. Programs are in place to address stunting, wasting, and other forms of malnutrition, including interventions related to infant and young child feeding. There are more women, children, and young girls now who have access to preventive and curative health services. Efforts of farmers and the government are focused on building resilient food systems, including improving agricultural productivity and enhancing access to markets for small-scale farmers. Once we look deeper into all the efforts made on nutrition, we realize that significant challenges remain. Despite all efforts, stunting rates, food insecurity, and poverty are still too high. At the same time, we also see a rising prevalence of people being overweight or obese, adding to the long-standing concerns like stunting and wasting. This indicates a triple burden of malnutrition in the country. This is why addressing malnutrition and improving nutrition, especially for children under 5, young pregnant mothers, and school-aged children, should be a key focus for actions on nutrition and social inclusion. Addressing these issues requires a collective, multi-sector response. This is not just a health issue. It is also an issue of education, and it is critically linked to agriculture, the blue economy, and more generally, economic growth. And I think that is why we saw this circle with all of these different actors that the colleague from WFP previously presented. The European Union remains steadfast in its commitment to improving nutrition globally and supporting countries like Timor-Leste in achieving sustainable progress. As part of our global commitment, the EU actively supports the World Health Assembly's goal of reducing global stunting among children under 5 by at least 40% by this year, 2025, even if, unfortunately, the current progress indicates that reduction has been, unfortunately, much lower than that so far. Our commitment aims to promote healthy diets, food security, and equitable access to essential services. We have been a dedicated partner in the nutrition sector in Timor-Leste for over a decade. Since 2014, we have collaborated with the Ministry of Health and with other development partners such as UNICEF and the World Food Programme. Our joint efforts have resulted in an investment of more than 25 million euros to support vital nutrition programs in Timor-Leste. Today, we are investing an additional 12 million euros over the next 3 to 4 years to support nutrition and social inclusion. This new phase of our engagement will again rely on a strong partnership with the United Nations, in particular with the World Food Programme, UNICEF, and the ILO. In addition, funds will also be made available to civil society organizations engaged in this field. The activities will focus on strengthening the capacity of the authorities to manage, implement, and monitor integrated nutrition and social protection interventions. Thus, the aim is for service delivery to improve and become more accessible to communities. It is critical that we effectively leverage all available resources. Existing investments, knowledge and capacity must be used to full extent, and this will require a much closer collaboration between different ministries and institutions than is currently the case. By working together, we can maximize the impact of our interventions and avoid duplication of efforts. While strategies and plans are essential, they must translate into concrete actions on the ground. This means ensuring that donor money reaches the most vulnerable populations, particularly women, children, and young girls. In closing, I think it is useful to remind ourselves that anyone who has ever tried to change their dietary habits learns that it is hard to translate good intentions into tangible change. When it comes to food, we may set ourselves clear rules, but often find that these are far more difficult to follow in practice than we originally envisaged. Apart from our own desires and limitations, social pressure also often plays a role in us making exceptions or giving up entirely on our good intentions. No matter how sound and good our nutritional advice is, it still remains very hard for individuals to follow through with it. In truth, individuals can and will often only follow through if and when they feel they are part of something bigger, if they see others make the same efforts as they do. Good nutrition must therefore be considered a collective responsibility and not, as we often still do, one that engages individual responsibility only. By the same token, the benefits of good nutrition accrue to society as a whole as much as to individuals. I thank you all, particularly our key implementing partners, WFP, ILO, and UNICEF, and the various government and civil society institutions with whom we will work under this program. Timor-Leste is a rare example of a country where civil society and government work in partnership. I very much hope that we can further strengthen this collaboration to ensure that everyone in Timor-Leste has access to nutritious food. Obrigado.
Thank you, Ambassador, for your remarks. As a donor country talking to us, the intention of us to implement this program of nutrition and social inclusion. So next, I'd like to invite Your Excellency, Madame Jacqueline de Groot, to give you a speech. Thank you.
Excellency, Vice Prime Minister Mariana Salami Sabino Lopez, Mr. Ambassador of the European Union, Friedrich, Excellencies from the 9th Constitutional Government, ambassadors, members of the Diplomatic Corps, representatives of the United States. It's both a privilege and a pleasure to stand before you today on behalf of the World Food